Hello everyone, it's Elaine. Thank you for joining me here today on my YouTube channel. Today's video tutorial is going to be inspired by this card here, which I posted to Instagram back at the beginning of the year. So the products today that I'm using are these Mama Elephant Stackable Cuties, Avery Elle 3 Hearts and a Hello Bluebird Happy Birthday die. I've also used the largest rectangle in this Waffle Flower Lacy Layers die set, and I'm cutting out a piece of pink cardstock here. You can't really see on camera, but it has got some sort of dot detail around the edge and it has a slightly linen-y texture. So just grab that Avery Elle 3 Hearts die and I've run that through my die cut machine. And to give a little bit more interest to this piece of cardstock, I'm taking the gold metallic paint out of my Gansai Tambi watercolour palette and I'm watering that down and splattering that on with a paintbrush. I've taken some Bristol smooth cardstock here and just cut out the same 3 hearts die. This is face down on my glass medium matte, and I'm just using some post-it tape to pop those hearts back into position, and I'm going to be doing some ink blending here in a moment. So just making sure they're all flush and put back in nicely. The inks I'm using today are Spun Sugar and Picked Raspberry, and I'm going to start off with the Spun Sugar. And my Spun Sugar does tend to be on the little bit dry side, probably does need re-inking. And I'm just putting a base layer of colour all over those hearts, trying to focus a little bit more colour on the 2 humps of the hearts, but just a really light layer just to sort of condition the cardstock. I always find that this first layer of ink sort of seasons the paper. So you can't really see that on camera, but there is a very light layer of Spun Sugar on those hearts. And now I'm going in with a slightly smaller brush and my Picked Raspberry. Grab a bit of sort of scratch paper there, and I just like to dab off the ink slightly before going in. That's because my Picked Raspberry is a little bit more juicy. And then to help blend out the Picked Raspberry, I just take a larger brush and help to blend that out. So I start with the tops of the hearts, just get a feel for the colour and how much ink's on my brush, and then gradually work my way down on the hearts. And if I don't think there's a great blend, I just go in with a slightly larger brush, just to help smooth everything out and blend everything together. Now I do that to all 3 of the hearts, exactly the same technique on each one. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of water using my little dropper here onto my glass mat. I've taken a small clean paintbrush and I'm just going to tap on some water to just distress those hearts a little. And then I just leave that to sit for about 30 seconds. Come in with some paper towel and just dab that off. Just adds a little bit more interest to my hearts, and just did that a couple of times, just till I'm happy with the effect. And then I'm going in with that Picked Raspberry. I've smushed that onto my mat, added some more water to it to loosen it up, and then coming in with that paintbrush and just tapping on a little bit of colour, mainly focusing towards the tops of the hearts where the deeper colour is. And then I'm just going to set that aside to dry while I work on other elements of the card. So here I'm going to be working on my sentiment. This is the Happy Birthday die from Hello Bluebird. I love this die. I think it's really versatile and just a good staple to have in my stash. So I've got some scratch card there. I'm just going to be using that again to dab off the excess ink, and I'm coming in with a tiny little brush here. It has got a slightly domed top, so I find it great for getting into little areas. And for this particular die where I've got these small letters and I really want to focus my colour into one area, I love using this tiny little brush. So I'm just going to have a little ombre effect similar to my heart, so that everything matches and has a kind of cohesive look. And I'm focusing the colour on the top of those letters and then on the base of these scripty letters, which forms the word happy birthday. So the middle part of this set is going to have the white, and the top and bottom will be pink. Now I'm just going to line everything up on my mat, and then have to say, excuse the state of my mat, I had no idea it looked so dirty. So now I've just popped some glue onto that bottom panel and then popping my letters back in. And then I've just also popped some glue on the back of this birthday die, and I'm just going to be securing that down, popping the eye or the dot of the eye back in as well. Make sure not to lose that. I use my tweezers to help me pick that up. Pop that down. And now I can start working on my little unicorn. This has been stamped with Tuxedo, Memento Tuxedo black ink onto Copic friendly cardstock. And I did cut this out with my silhouette machine. And I'm using my C markers for the body of the unicorn, so I'm going in with my darkest colour there, which is the C3, and I'll be blending that out with the C1, C0. I think that it might be a C00 and my blender as well, my 0 marker. I do think my C1 is a little bit dry. I do need to refill it. I need to buy the refill first, and I think that might have affected my blending slightly, so I do need to get that one refilled, but I still think I love the way the little unicorn turned out. So I just repeat the process twice, just add in the darkest colour, the C3, into the shaded or the areas I want to be shaded, and then slightly blending that out. So generally I always colour my images at least twice. I'm going in with some pretty pink colours here for the wings and the hair on the front of his head. So I'm using my RV55, RV52 and a little bit of RV10. I do find that the RV10 can take away and bleach out the colours or blend back the colours of the darker colours. And to help me blend the RV52 and RV55, I am using the tip-to-tip method there, just to help everything blend seamlessly. And I love these B markers. They give a really nice light lilac colour. These are the B66, B63 and B60. But for these colours, I generally work the other way around. So I use my lighter colour first and work up to the darker colour. So now you can start adhering all my elements together. So I'm just popping that panel onto my A2 side folding card base. Nothing is adhered yet, but I am popping some glue into the heart cutout areas and just laying my hearts back in, so they will actually be adhered directly to the card base. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop some foam tape all over the back of my pink card panel. Remove the release papers, and apologies for my head and my hair getting in the way here. I needed to look directly over my card base, make sure everything was lined up and pressed down. Now I can add some glue to the back of my unicorn and secure her down, or him down. I did go ahead and stamp one of the little speech bubbles. I used a pink, I think it's called Rosebud Memento ink for that. Just securing that down as well with some liquid adhesive. Popping some Spectrum Noir clear sparkle pen on the wings and the mane at the front, the feet and the horn. Give some nice shimmer. I'm just darkening up the eyes with some black glaze gel pen and a little dot of white gel pen to the cheeks. I did take some pretty pink Posh. This is the Valentine's mix. These little jewels in various sizes, and just securing those randomly all over the front of the card as well. I did feel like my unicorn was sort of floating in the air, And to help give it something to ground it, as it were, I took some liquid adhesive there and these sort of chunky glitter sparkles, and I'm going to try and make this look like my unicorn sitting on a cloud. So just tapping off that excess, and then I've got a little sparkly cloud that my unicorn is sitting on. And there is my card for today complete. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up so that I know you liked it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. If you're interested in any of the supplies I've used, please check out the description box below, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.